I've had tons of comments asking for a property tour. Just kidding, I lied. Literally nobody has asked me for this, but nonetheless, I'm going to be taking you on a private 100+ acre homestead in progress tour. Now you're probably gonna hear me ramble a lot about dreams, plans, visions, and ideas for this place that I don't have the money to do. So don't say I didn't warn you, but the good news is if you stick around on this channel and hit that subscribe button, you will get to see all of these dreams and visions come to life. Out of all the beautiful places on this property, this has to take the cake, no doubt. The 100-year-old Peon Orchard is absolutely stunning. Now, this is a treehouse that I built in my favorite pecan tree on the property. It's a beast. And it's really a nice spot to enjoy the evening and the sun filtering through the trees in the pecan orchard. I mean, is this a great spot or what? Look at how beautiful in the arms of this big old pecan tree. So pecans would have been a primary source of income for the family that lived here at one point. About an 8-acre pecan orchard on our side, and the neighbors have about 7 acres of it. So it would have been 15 acres of pecans. And these are planted pretty far apart compared to other pecan orchards that I see around the area. But these things are old, it's like at least 100 years old. Look at the size of this thing. Pecan is a super, super hardwood. Now these things can drop anywhere from like 1,000 to 2,500 pounds of pecans per acre, and those can be worth a lot of money if you have the equipment to harvest them and sell them. You can get a couple $1,000s per acre. This is the beginning of my fruit orchard. We've got apple trees on this side, peach trees on this side, and I had to build these cages around them because the deer were just being merciless with them. Back there is the wonderful tree house. Now, literally every other video on my channel is about the tree house, so we're not gonna spend much time on that. This little peach tree that we just planted actually has 3 peaches on it. So I wanna add like pear trees, plum trees, fig trees, like basically pretty much everything that grows fruit I wanna plant here. Now this is the view from the front deck of the tree house. Over there is one of the old wells. So this entire area around the pond and the treehouse was all woods when we bought the property, and we didn't even know this old well was here. We actually discovered it later on. So just like a month ago, my dad and brother and I, we collected all these rocks and got some concrete and built this little wall around the well, which I think looks pretty cool. This is actually right next to the treehouse, and the plan for this is to put a little roof on here, a couple of solar panels, have some batteries. We'll maybe even do a windmill pump right here, and something that's renewable energy to pump this water up. So it'll be like a cool little old school farm well house right here. I mean, come on, is this storybook or what? I mean, this is a swing that my dad and I built for my mom. We need to raise it up a little bit, kind of sank. This is just a sweet spot. There's a nice breeze. It's just a great spot. And down there is the dock we built about 1.5 years ago. This is the dock. Excuse the mess. It's been in winter mode, but this is a great spot to hang out at. Actually, I was thinking about, building like a whole pavilion over this thing, so that way you can actually like hang out here in the middle of the day without getting cooked alive. But if we did build a pavilion, some of you guys had some really good ideas about putting solar panels on the pavilion, and I love that. We got this fish feeder here that I repaired, but I don't think it works anymore, so I might have to repair it again. And I know you're probably wondering, how big is the pond? The pond is just shy of 5 acres, and per my calculations based on its depth, it holds about 12 million gallons of water. And it is not a retention pond, it is a freshwater spring-fed pond. It is a bit brown right now because we've had a lot of rain and we got some washout into the pond. Whenever that happens, it turns brown for a couple weeks. I built that floating dock out there in 2021. This right here is where I proposed to my wife last July. I wish I had said this when I was down at the pond, but I didn't, so I'm gonna tell you now. I wanna build an island out there. Just imagine the pond's behind me. I'm building an island out there. I've got all the plans and everything, like an island with palm trees and a big nice rock to jump off of and sand. It's gonna be amazing. I wanted to do it this summer, but hopefully next summer. So where I'm standing right now is a very interesting area, and it's actually the site of an old house, and some of the ruins are still left. So this house, I believe, was burned down during the Civil War, because I know for a fact that General Sherman's troops camped on this very property, and I know they came down here to where the livestock was, and I believe this house was burned down because there's nothing left of the wood, but there's a lot of nails. I found a brass lock, and we found a bullet that was fired. You see all over this area are these big foundation stones and these bricks that I've been digging up. I've been digging all these bricks up from this big mound here. Like, this is so old that the chimney's gone and buried. I mean, look at this brick. You can see the curve in it. That is very old. This has got to be at least a 200-year-old brick. This house was probably built in the early 1800s, if not earlier. And now there's more of these foundation stones all around this area. And as you can see, it's real close to the treehouse and right by the pond. Here's another foundation stone right here. There's like 6 or 7 of these just scattered throughout this area. And it's one of at least 3, if not 4 ruins that I've discovered on the property. Right here is the power supply for the treehouse. So this is where we had the power company trench down to right here and put in a box and a meter. This is this very central location on the property. So that's how we were able to run over to the dam, over to the treehouse, eventually over to the barn and back that way if we need to. Although we'll probably just be on solar. If you've been following the shorts, you know what I'm talking about. We're not gonna get into that in this video. And right up here is a well that we had dug. It's like, I don't know how deep it is. It's really deep. It pumps out 33 gallons a minute. They drilled very far down. I mean, there's still all this granite dust from when they drilled it a few years ago. And this is what supplies water to the treehouse. We trenched a line all the way over there and we have water all the way to the treehouse. So that's the second well on the property. So this is the west side of the pond and it's where we use to actually keep the camper. It's really nice, flat area, beautiful view of the pond. We got this big old fire pit here. We've got some power and water run over here, so we may end up building like a little pavilion of sorts back here too. There's the treehouse on the other side of the pond. Got this nice sitting rock right here and you can just sit and enjoy the place. All right, still on the west side of the pond, just a little further north, and I've planted 3 weeping willow trees on this side of the pond that I hope will get very, very big and shade this whole area with beautiful weeping willows that I can see from the treehouse. Right here, we've got some targets that we shoot from the treehouse, about 155 yards. Propane tank, satellite dish. Treehouse is just an amazing spot to shoot from. So up here on this side of the pond, we're kind of envisioning like a vineyard. My dad's always wanted a vineyard and we're gonna make it happen. But it won't just be grapes, it'll be raspberries, blueberries, all that kind of stuff. And right here is the first bit of blueberries. Check it out, some of them even got some blueberries on them, even though I just planted them in the fall. Little blueberries. Would you look at that? So we've got a row of 10 blueberry bushes right here, and these things are supposed to get 10 feet tall. So it'll just be a wall of blueberry bushes, and then the vineyard will go down this way, kind of sloping down towards the water. This is what we call the first food plot, and it's kind of like an intersection, a highway intersection at the property. So we've got a trail there, a trail there, a trail there, and a trail there, and kind of a trail there. So if you go up the road that way, you get back to the treehouse. You go that way, you get to the barn shop site. You go down there, you get to the second food plot. And if you go down there, it also eventually loops back around to the second food plot. We've got a deer stand hidden in the woods up there, as well as a trail camera on that tree. This is a nice little field. It's very quiet, very centered in the property, lots of woods all the way around it. Also, there is a graveyard in the woods right there that I discovered last September, I think, or August or September. My instincts tell me not to specify what kind of graveyard or exactly what I found until I properly do my research, but there is a graveyard back there and I know for a fact it's been logged over at least twice because a lot of stuff is pretty scattered. I discovered it this time right before the property got logged in September and I flagged off the whole thing and I was like, nobody go over here, but I know that it's been logged over at least twice in the history of this place. One of those times was before we ever had the property. Okay, down here in the woods, we've got what we call the corner pocket. So that is a deer blind that we built back here, and it is the most productive deer blind that we have on the property or hunting spot at all. I mean, pretty much just always get a deer when you come down here. Looks pretty clean. But yeah, that's the corner pocket. Usually we got like snacks and stuff in there, and it's pretty easy hunting because like you're not up in a tree stand having to like sit absolutely still. So it's rookie hunting, but if you need some meat, that'll do it. This is the second food plot. It's like the first food plot, except it's the second. Hey, look, a turkey. There's not much to see here. That's a tree that we strapped 3 pounds of tannerite to and tried to blow it up and knock it down, but it didn't work. There's many deer stands on this property and really an abundance of deer. I mean, I've been hunting since I was 10 years old and it's never been so easy since we got this property 4 years ago. I mean, they're just everywhere. All right, this deer stand is on what we call Horseshoe Bend. So this road curves around up there, connects to the first food plot, comes down, curves around here, and goes up to the second food plot. So back here, about 200 yards from the treehouse, and behind me is a carport that came on the property. It was up at the front. We disassembled it and brought it down here. And I've got to put all the metal's right there. I've got to put it all on it. We're just going to use it as kind of a temporary little barn shop storage shed thing, park a tractor in, that kind of thing. Just somewhere to lock up. This whole area here, we may build a barn back here. We've got this beautiful, huge, beautiful oak tree that we actually cleared out from the woods. The woods had all grown up around it and we had it cleared around. Back here is the third well on the property. Then this one supplied water to the old house that was here, and it currently supplies water to the camper over there. So this is also in the pecan orchard. This is some of the old stuff I found here. I also found the Civil War lock. So this is the lock and the bullet that were discovered on the property. I found this one and a friend found this one. This is actually the first thing I found metal detecting, which really was not good for my morale after every other rusty nail I found after this. But yeah, more evidence. Like, this could have been used to, what, lock an ammo box, a gun box? Who knows? Maybe it was just a padlock for someone's house. It's hard to say, but it still moves, still works. Maybe we'll find the key. So this is a house that the family would have lived in that farmed these pecans, and the house that Sherman's troops would have camped in when they came through here. 100%, I know for a fact from the descendants of the people that own this property that Sherman's troops were on this property. They camped in this house that was here. And I believe, this is not fact, but I believe they went and burned down that house down there by the treehouse where those old bricks were. So I'm coming up here to the head of the creek that feeds the pond. Now the pond actually does have quite a few springs in it because you can feel it when you're swimming around. But if you come up here a bit of a ways, you'll see right there is water that flows right out of the ground. Yeah, here we go, check it out. Water comes right out of the ground right there. This is the furthest north spring on the property, and well, besides the one that's right next to it up there. But this one is high production. It hasn't rained in about a week, and water flows out of there, and it connects with lots of other springs and just turns into a creek that flows right into the pond, and there's a bunch of springs in the pond too. So we quite literally have a lot of natural water resources on this property. So this is the creek downstream from that spring. And like I said, it hasn't rained in a week, and you can see that that thing is flowing. This is the wonderful camper that Mary and I have been staying in when we're working on the treehouse. It is on the property. It's about a half a mile from the treehouse. I'm gonna give you guys a little tour of our little campsite here, which I love so much. So the nice thing is we get sun first thing in the morning, just bakes the camper in sun. It's so easy to cook outside. We've got a big, like 12-foot long picnic table, that stainless steel sink. We've got the Weber grill and the Waffle House griddle. Let me tell you, this griddle is the best thing ever. Everything you cook on here tastes so freaking good. There's a propane tank down there that runs up to the griddle. And we've got the green egg grill right here too. So yeah, the outdoor kitchen's a wonderful spot. Over here, we've got a nice little fireplace. Those are pecan logs from the Peon Orchard, which is over there, that we drag up here to cut up and burn for firewood. Pecan burns forever. Got our nice little sitting area right here. Got a little hammock to chill in and enjoy the field. This is my truck. You guys have probably seen it in the videos. The last thing I want to show you guys is this field up here. It's about a 6-acre field. We just have hay growing out here, but who knows what it could be used for in the future. If you look to your left, there'll be some grass. If you look to your right, there'll be some grass. It's pretty much just some grass. There's not much to show you out in this field. Thank you guys for watching. If you want to see the treehouse build, I'll put the playlist up here for the whole build series. Do me a favor and subscribe. It is a favor, huge favor. As of now, we're at 72,000 subscribers.